And it says we are live. Well, of course we're live. Hello, everybody. How you doing? Happy Thursday to you. And what a family. Welcome all Soul Tribe. What do we say? We're just members of the tribe, right? Love it. How y'all doing? So good to see you. I was just reading. Hello, Sabrina. How you doing? Jill, good to see you. Kent, hello, my friend. We're going to get you on. Susie Q, hello. How are you? David Castle, Blanca. Favor be unto us. Bunches of it. Yeah, just pour it in on us. Like, on Susie Q. There we go. Now I'm hearing myself. That means I'm coming and going in space time, in time space. So, Darth, good to see you, my friend. How are you? Hillard, Angel, good to see you. Cheryl, Eye of the Maelstrom. Hello. Hadley, how you doing? And welcome our friend from Kiwi, China. Always good to have y'all here. Thank you. Ethereal Waves. Hey, isn't that the truth? I was telling, as I opened it up on the chat room, said, yeah, I'm just flowing in the waves. Right now, the heat waves, but it's okay. Viola, how are you? Good to see you. T-Cat, hello. Much love to you. Samuel, XXX, how are you? Bree, good to see you. Dawn Summerlin, hello. Good to see you. Thought agape love, think it all the time. Fail safe, I love that. Wendy, hello. Spirit Girl, how you doing from San Francisco? And Paul Joe. May there be nothing missing, nothing broken in our lives. I tell you, I'm really digging the waves. They are. You know, waves are up and down all around. I don't know. I always liked to be on the roller coasters. Yeah, it's kind of cool. And yeah, I think that's how life is here in the big picture. Uh, Truth in Me, hello, good to see you. Tonight on artistfirst.com, 10 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and you figure out your time zone. Hello, David Barry. How you doing, my friend? The Steiger Perspective. Tonight, the theme of the show is Descent into Madness. Lots of evidence, and I'm reading more and more. That is what's happening to us. In fact, it is being said now that our species, sapiens, are on the brink of descending into a new dark age. That our technology is not going to save us. Our religions are not going to save us. Folks, it's had 2,000 years to take. Come on. And technology seems to be the, how shall we say, the igniter, the impetus, the catalyst that seems to be driving us into the descent of madness. Are we on the next sixth extinction? You know, sapiens really shouldn't be here. The mystery is, and Franny, got to get you on, girl. Owe you a call. Hey, Lucky Stone, how you doing, my friend? And Kaylee, good to see you. That sapiens may actually be a genetic mistake. Where we heard that before. And who knows? Maybe, hey, Danny, how are you doing? Hell is cold. You know, that's what Blood, Sweat, and Tears said, you know, in their song. It says, you know, button me up because I hear it's cold way down there. And when I die, there'll be one child born in the world to carry on. Hey, Nina the Mystic, how you doing, my dear? So anyway, Franny, got to get you on. That would be a good discussion for us to have. Talk about that. You know, sapiens. Man, we can't seem to get it right. Anyway, that's what you'll find it to be interesting, to say the least. Let's see. Happy birthday to you, Perry. Man, we appreciate you. Perry's got a kind spirit. He has to be with Al, because Al just lift you up. So anyone see the card? I was meditating this morning. The visitations are becoming much more how shall we say? What would be the perfect word that you have that conversation with someone you're having coffee with, and there's just that connection? You know what I'm saying? You can have coffee with them 100 times, but boy, that one time there was a connection. Well, anyway, so it is, hey, Spirit Girl, San Francisco, way to go. Yes, and remember 3 ways. 1, yellow or circle. So gives you a while. Thought that would be fun. So we're gonna Brian Lunsford, we're gonna get him on here. Yeah, let's all say happy birthday to Mr. Perry. Perry's a cool guy. So let's see, we got the cards. And I tell you, if I was playing roulette with this, man, I mean, I'd have to leave because it wouldn't be fun anymore. So I just saw this card. Ah, how interesting. Wow. So we picked the card Manus, and this is the hand. Again, when Trina and I were talking about these cards, you know, I study them, and there's some heavy energy with these. So let's see what the hand, speak to the hand. The hand represents control, planning, mastery. I like that. The reverse of that is manipulation. We've been reading the hidden hands, and boy, talk about we've been manipulated. I think these are really cool cards. You know, hello, Robert V. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. So anyway, we'll do this each day. I think it's kind of fun just to see what the universe has to say, the infinite one. All right, want to get really going because we're about to continue to switch into gear, and let's finish up where we left off. We only literally have about 10 minutes finishing the last part. So we left off with working on ourselves. I like how this is, you know, because this is about responsibility. No judgment can ever be leveled against you if you take full responsibility for who you are. There's no greater one to judge you. Against what standard can you judge a soul upon? The only standard is there is the individuated soul of the individual. That will be the standard of which judgment would be conducted by. So if you're doing the inside work now, who would be your accuser? Who would lay a claim against you? No one. All right, working on yourself. Work upon yourself. Go inside in a state of meditative contemplation. Steel your mind that your soul may have room in which to make its still small voice heard. That passage in the book of Psalms, you know, be still, O my soul, and know the serenity of God. Shelah, 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 you know, yeah. Ask your infinite creator to help you. I'm starting to do that now. And listen to your inner voice. Be patient. It takes time to develop this inner communication after a lifetime of neglect. Use your negative emotions when they arise as the tools that they truly are. Train yourself to notice when negativity arises in you. When you catch yourself projecting a negative thought, remember that all thought is creative, and ask yourself if that is really what you want to create. It takes a while to become proficient, but do not give up. Just keep noticing your negative thought patterns as they arise. And in so doing, simply choose again and select a response that is more positive. It is called working on yourself. and is the main reason you have chosen to be here right now, to work on yourself. I am finding for myself in moments of doing other tasks. Cheers, everyone. It's a hot one out there. We all talk to ourselves. It's the amazing thing. It's the fractal you. Hello, Trina. And so if you start training yourself, the negative self, and then start debating with the positive self, eventually, the positive self will work out. When you persevere and keep working on yourself, gradually it will come to you. And when it does, you must learn to trust in your inner guidance, no matter what others may say. That is the ultimate test. To trust what you know deep inside as your truth, even when the whole world tells you that you are wrong. It is hard work to trust yourself when all those around you doubt you and call you crazy. But it is the job you came here to do. It really is so true. And if you write this down, I did. Two things. If you learn to doubt your doubt, you'll never doubt your doubts again. And the other thing is society, this environment, it teaches you to question yourself, to doubt yourself. And that's been the demise of many, many people. It's the scene. So I'll set the stage. We have a group of survivors, and they're hassling, they're arguing, they're in confusion, but they're determined to go down this path. But you say, no, my inner self is telling me that's not the way, that's the way. And they all gang up on you. And they start calling you names. They start showing your flaws of character, everything in the world to tell you why you're not going their way. But you stay adamant. You stand your ground. And as everyone else is passing on down that path, you turn around and walk your own. And you eventually find your oasis where the other group perishes. That's the same thing. The only real and lasting truth is a self-realized one. Messengers can come and go and show you truth until you're blue in the face, but it will not be your truth until you have realized it for yourself, deep within the core of your being, that it feels true to you. Never accept something as true just because someone tells you it is so. But when your inner voice guides you that a truth is true, and you feel that old warm feeling of excitement welling up from somewhere deep within that says, yes, I knew it. Hold on to that feeling. Feelings are the language of your soul. Guard it carefully, as you can be sure that your newfound beliefs will be challenged in many ways. It's designed this way to test you. And folks, I can tell you, it's that feeling of, yes, I knew it all along. I knew it. How many of you have had that feeling? I've had that feeling recurring in my life. But now that feeling can both be positive and negative. Just depends, again, how you're using the tool. Your inner truth must be able to withstand the test of time. It will be given a thorough examination. Hold fast to it, so long as it is whatever you know to be true deep within, allowing nothing or no one outside of you to pull you from your path, no matter how fiercely they contend with you. They are just doing their job, even if they may not even be aware that that is what they are in fact doing. They are performing an important service to you, and you should be grateful to them for that. I want to say something here too, because someone obviously needs to listen to this. You're involved in something very important, and you're doing your best, but you still have animosity. Now, when you're in a situation like that, it can be a fine line between what we would call acceptance, forgiveness, if you want to go that far, of the other individual. It's hard to say that when someone's harmed you to say thank you. But if you allow the animosity to build, it will seep in like a virus and it will contaminate your faith, your beliefs, everything. It's all right to be pissed off at someone. There's no problem with that. That's completely natural and it is completely allowable. But it shouldn't go any further from that, because after all, what they have done to you, you have probably done to someone else. Something to think about. Follow your heart, listen to it, trust it, and most importantly, your inner voice. Working with others. In getting your message out there, whilst being informative, always do your best not to feed the fear and paranoia. You know, the biggest YouTube channels are all fear-based. They promote a sense of fear, a sense of dread. It's the end. And they may not even be blatant about it. It may be very subliminal. Why? Because people like being scared. They do. People, sapiens, for the most part, want disasters. And I know it sounds contradictory, but check it out. As this will act contrary to your intentions of raising the vibration to positive. Deliver your message in a way that emphasizes the hope and the true beauty and reality of our inherited oneness with our infinite creator. Always think of Brian on something like this. The most important thing is not to force things and not to be so impassionate in the delivery of your message that you put people off the content of the message itself. There is a balance that needs to be found between your urgency to awaken others and your compassion for the lack of understanding in their condition. Always adhere to the law of free will and never force your message. Be as light shining in the darkness. Do not burn others with your light. Whoa. Whoa. Now there's a truth bomb right there. How many of us have actually burned others when we were just trying to shine our light? But rather allow them to be drawn to your light and be of service to those who come to you willingly. In other words, do not become evangelical with your message, but rather be anamic and loving, wise old sage, to whom others are drawn to because of the quality of vibration, rather than the volume of rhetoric. Wow. More importantly, practice that which you preach. Others must be able to see the effect of our infinite creator conducting his wonderful work through you. But above all things, keep working upon yourself and keep choosing the positive. Be of service to others. Do it not because you feel that you must, but because you desire to. Other catalysts and messages. There is another family, or group more accurately, asserting a positive influence on humanity, but you cannot see them, and neither are you aware of their existence. They help the planet from a secret inner location by the quality of energy work they engage in and project outward to you from the source. There are also here wanderers or travelers from higher densities who have chosen to incarnate on earth at this time in order to perfect service to others. They still have to remember who they are. And part of the concern is that sometimes even they do not manage to awaken in the game. Such is the power of illusion. They are here to awaken themselves and then to help awaken others to prepare for the coming great harvest. Yet, even if they fail to awaken, these souls are not bound by the third density cycle, and they've already mastered it. Once their incarnation is over, they are again free to return to their appropriate levels. Many who do not believe now will begin to open their minds as the earth changes that are coming begin to take effect. People will be terrified and have no idea what is going on because the governments have concealed this information from you. These travelers, or what some have termed star seeds, are incarnated here to help on the ground level when this all begins to play out over the next few years. When the time is right, they will come forward. Most people are not ready to hear this information yet, but not so far off, they will be. Many of these star seeds have not awakened yet themselves. The Confederation stands by ready to help them to do so if it is necessary. For ones such as these who have yet to awaken, they will have felt all their lives that they are somehow different. They have a deep sense of somehow they do not belong here. Many of them will also have many dreams and even visions of their lives on their home planets. You will only receive communication from higher entities if that is something you have already agreed together in your soul contract before coming here. And many at this time, in fact, millions, have a part to play in the Great Awakening and in making preparation for the great harvest. The message will reach all those it is meant to reach, and that is exactly the way it should be. It is what the Creator wants. Those with ears to hear, eyes to see, and a heart to understand will hear the message, and the seeds planted will grow strong in such fertile soil as these. And brothers and sisters, let me just tell you, this is happening to you right now. You are a chosen one. You may have heard this message 100 times, but there are many who have not, and it may have taken the 100th time to fully awaken you. But you're here, not by coincidence, not by happenstance, not by accidents. Destiny fated your fate to be here today to hear this. Now, it's up to you as to what you do with it. You can be, as I've told you, Charles Sturgeon, one of the great evangelical leaders of the late 19th, 20th century. As I've told you the story of, had a parishioner in his congregation who was a destitute poor woman, actually lived in a box, and she was dying because poor health, poor nutrition, etc. And as he went there to kind of give her her last rites, so to speak, he noticed a picture frame on her box, but it was silver, and there was a document in it, and he asked if he could see it, and she said yes. Long story short, she had worked for a very wealthy duchess, and the duchess had left her everything, unbeknownst to her. This woman lived a life of poverty, lack, neglect. The whole time she was a millionaire and never knew it. Someone needed to hear that. This message is yet another in a long line of catalysts that your infinite Creator has provided you with down the course of history. A catalyst is not meant to be believed. It is meant to present you with a challenge to that which you think you know about reality. And that is all it is meant to do. As always, how you respond to the catalyst is entirely up to you. Take the guidance in this message into your meditation and also seek information from your dream time. Test these words deeply. Take them into your heart only if they feel right and truthful to you. If they do, then act upon them and allow nothing and no one to deter you. Arise and play the part for which you volunteered to be here right now. It's almost time. Prepare yourself and be sure that you are ready. And remember, no matter what ideologies may separate us in this game, the message is all that matters. And the message is that in love and light of our infinite Creator, we all are intimately interconnected in the one. We are brothers and sisters of the light. We wish you all the very best in what remains of your journey here, and sincerely hope that you will use the catalyst we have offered to you in some way. May it help you to graduate with a glorious and positive, great harvest. There it is. We read a lot here, and we're about to get into another book, because this is all tied into, we're going to be eventually getting and talking with Ra. And it's all connected. So let's get right into this. I have chosen a book that we're going to start kind of looking at, and we're going to jump into another book. This is Erwin Wearley, One Truth, One Law, I Am, I Create. We are all God. We have just forgotten. This is an interesting book in many ways. I think we're going to enjoy it. I like how it starts out, dedication. This book is for you. You are more powerful than you've ever imagined. And I don't have this one. Maybe someone can find it on PDF. This is on my Kindle. And I've gotten, we've got literally, folks, last night I looked at this. We've got about 30 plus books already lined up. So yeah. All right. You're going to love this. Introduction by Erwin. I know you feel lost sometimes. I know you wonder who you really are and why you're here. I know sometimes it feels like everybody else has figured it out while you're sitting in the sidelines. I know this because I used to feel the same way. I was in my late 20s, but I was still that same scared girl who had been picked on in school and always felt alone, no matter how many people were around me. I always felt like everyone else had it figured out. And the best I could do was pretend to be like them. I didn't trust myself, so I trusted other people to give me advice about what I should do with my life. I'd never stood up to anyone, ever, at least not about anything important. Basically, I was a mess. But I felt something. I knew there had to be more to life. So I read self-improvement books, lots of books. I started thinking more positive thoughts. I started to love myself a little bit more, bit by bit. Then one day I saw a channeler on the internet and read one of her books. She seemed to understand life in a way I didn't, all because she had a secret weapon. Somebody who knew what was really going on was contacting her from another dimension. I wish I could do that, but I didn't believe it was possible. I mean, who was I anyway? Why would an advanced being waste time on me? So I kept reading books, trying to figure out the meaning of life, and figured out if there was a purpose to all of it. One night, everything I'd been reading just clicked. And I wrote in a notebook, "We are all God, and we are all one." Full disclosure, I had no idea what that meant when I wrote it down, but it came out of me onto paper. I went to sleep thinking nothing of it. The next day in the shower, I remember what I had written the previous night, and I asked out loud, "Am I God?" I wasn't expecting an answer, but I must have been open to it because I heard a voice in my head say, "Yes." I knew immediately it wasn't my voice. It sounded the same, but I hadn't thought the thought. It was just deposited in my mind. And those deposits kept coming. This book is a series of conversations between my husband, Phil, and my inner voice. During the summer of 2011, I laid down on the couch in our cramped one-bedroom apartment in Virginia Beach almost every day. Phil would ask me questions, and my inner voice, who calls itself I am, would answer out loud through me. We recorded those conversations on a tape recorder. Excuse me 1 second here. I want to do that. There we go. You can believe we were still using tapes in 2011 and transcribed them. I wish I'd never given up my reel to reel. Anyway, we were excited about what we were hearing, but we were young and lacked confidence. I was sure everyone would think I was crazy, so I didn't want to share what I'd learned. In the 8 years since then, I have grown a great deal. So when I pulled the transcripts out of the basement last summer, I was blown away to realize, in retrospect, how much my life had been influenced by what my inner voice had said. However, this book is not really about me or my husband. It's about you, because your inner voice has been waiting to talk with you throughout your whole life. You remembered that feeling of being lost that I mentioned at the beginning? You feel that way because you've been separated from your inner self, who desperately wants to be found. This book will show you how to tap into that voice. Once you're talking to that wise part of you, you won't need this book anymore, because you are God and you don't need anyone else to tell you who you are. Introduction by I Am. My name is I Am, but you've probably spent your whole life referring to me as God. My name doesn't matter. What matters is who I am and who you are. I am everything. I am all that exists. The non-physical world is a collection of thoughts. The physical world that you live in is simply a projection of each of those thoughts. Everything that you see, feel, hear, taste, and smell in the physical world has been created by my thoughts. You are a projection of an almost infinite number of thoughts. Each time you have a new thought, it begins in the non-physical world and is projected into the physical. What you call your consciousness exists in a non-physical and is projected into what seems like a real physical world to you. I am constantly projecting all the thoughts of billions of people into the physical world. I am each of you. Your thoughts are mine. There is no separation. You are God. You think you are someone else because I, and therefore you, have unlimited creative power. You have the ability to create a persona and believe it's real, that you are an individual. It's not the truth, but since you created it, it exists in the physical world. There's so much more to know, and I'm so excited to share it with you. But for now, that's enough to get you started. Let's talk about you and why you're holding this book in your hands. You've spent your whole life being lost. Somewhere, no matter how deep down inside you, you've always wondered, why are you here? Where did you really come from? Why does everyone else seem to have it together while you're just barely holding on? How come they seem to belong to some secret club that already knows all the answers? Don't believe it. There's a reason you're holding this book. Your life experiences and desires led you here. If you have the courage to set aside what you think you know, this book has the answers you've never quite been able to grasp. If you have the courage to read with a truly open mind, you won't ever have to search for the truth again. You will know who you are and why you're here. In fact, if you follow the prompts in this book, you may begin talking with me yourself. You may begin to hearing my answers to your questions in your head. With practice, it is possible. Erwin will keep writing more books because it is joyful for her to create them, and it is her purpose. But you should stop reading them once you have begun to hear my answers in your head. At that point, you will be able to find out your purpose and begin to create it. You won't need to know the answers to Erwin's and Phil's questions. You'll be able to get the answers to your own questions. Anyone who tells you they channel something without encouraging you to do so yourself will never lead you to your real answers. They haven't found the truth themselves. This book is all about learning to listen to yourself, your true self, who is God. I love Erwin just as I love all of you. I am always trying to come through to you. Every creative thought you have is me. Every negative, doubting thought you have is your persona. For years, I've tried to make contact with her and through her writing. She would sit down and write in some sort of trance state and have no idea what she was writing. When she was done, she would read something like this and be amazed and wonder where did it come from and what it meant. Dress. Why are you dancing? Because the air moves. That's funny. I didn't know dresses could move by themselves. We don't. We only move when the air moves us, just like you. What do you mean? You only move when you're moved? You mean I don't move me, something else does? Yes. You're not who you think you are. Who am I? You're lost. That's something Erwin wrote long before she found me. I was always trying to get her to listen to me, but her persona was blocking me. Have you ever had an experience like this? Something you couldn't explain? I would bet you have, because you are me just as much as Erwin is. And so I know you've always felt lost in a way you couldn't quite grasp. I'm always trying to come through to you any way I can. I want to be found. I don't want you to be lost. I want you to know who you are. You are God, and there is nothing more powerful than you. You create your world with your thoughts, whether or not you realize you're doing it. The power that builds universes courses through your veins. You are a living, breathing embodiment of God, and I love you so much. Please read this book as many times as it takes to begin to understand my words. then instead of forgetting about them, practice listening to me yourself. Follow the steps in this book. I've been knocking at the door of your consciousness your whole life, and I'm so excited that you're close to letting me in. Day 1, the voice. At the center of your being, you have the answer. You know you know who you are, and you know what you are. Lao Tzu. You're not going to believe this, I said, standing naked in front of Phil as water dripped off me on the carpet. I'm talking to God in my head. What? Phil asked, glancing away from his video game. As soon as he saw me, he dropped the controller. What do you mean? I walked to the bathroom and grabbed a towel. I'm not sure. I'm asking questions, and I hear the answer in my head. What makes you think it's God? The voice told me it's God. It said I was God. And for some reason, I am seeing John Denver and, I can think of his name. I see his face. I'll think of it in a second. Who is God? What does that mean? I have no idea. Can I ask it something? Phil asked. Fear slammed through me. Phil has a very open mind, so he'll give any idea a chance. I love Phil already. At the same time, he's super analytical. I hadn't heard the voice since I had gotten out of the shower a few minutes earlier. I was already doubting what had happened. If this wasn't God in my head, he'd know right away. My heart started racing and sweat beaded on my upper lip. I wanted to say no. I wanted to run back into the shower and keep it to myself. I would never be able to answer his questions. Before I could run and hide, I heard the voice again. Relax. You don't have to answer anything. I love you. Trust me. I still wasn't sure. I didn't want to lie to Phil or pretend to be something I'm not. The voice heard my doubts and said, lie down, close your eyes, let me do the talking. You don't have to do anything. I knew that wasn't my voice answering me. I had never known anything with so much certainty. I lay down on the couch and Phil asked a question. I heard the answer and spoke it out loud. After that, the voice took over. I didn't hear the answers between the questions being asked and the words coming out of my mouth. It felt wonderful to relax and let the voice take over. I felt enveloped in warmth and love. And the voice was right. I didn't have to answer anything. I just had to allow it to flow. Phil and my inner voice talked for about an hour. At the end, he was convinced the answers were coming from somewhere beyond me, beyond Erwin. I was convinced as well, because I could feel the difference the whole time. We weren't expecting that first conversation, so we didn't record it. This conversation you're about to read is actually our second, which took place the following day. If it feels awkward at times, like Phil reading from a list of questions, it's because he was. Those first few days, we were both nervous. We didn't want to do anything to mess this up and make I am go away. Phil wrote questions he thought of during the day, so we wouldn't be left with his mouth hanging open, wondering what to say next. When we started to understand how much I am loves us, Phil relaxed, and the conversations flowed naturally. Day 2, no limits. If the door of perceptions were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. William Blake. Now we start off with the questions. Phil, who are you? I am. I am. You would probably call me God, but I am. There's nothing else but me. In the beginning, my mind and the spiritual world was all that existed. The physical world did not exist. Only my thoughts existed, and all my thoughts created immediately. Then I thought a physical world, and it was projected from my mind into existence. Let's just stop here a second. So if you go back and you look at this, it's saying, and here's what I hear. So I don't know if this is a being, but it would imply either everything started at the beginning of the thought, or this being is maybe from somewhere else that we can't even begin to fathom. I don't know. Phil, is Erwin channeling you? I am. No, I am Erwin's inner voice. Erwin is me, just like you are me. Every human is me. Every human can access me. When somebody says they're channeling something outside of themselves, it's because they don't understand that they are God and that we are all one. Phil, if I'm God, why do I worry so much? I am. Worry comes from not knowing that you are God and that every thought you have creates. Phil, every thought I have creates? Yes, I am everything. We are all one. Through thought, I have created everything in the physical world. It is possible for you to think and create because your inner self is God, whether you know it or not. That is the one truth, one law. I am and I create. Each thought I, and therefore you, have creates precisely every time. There's nothing in the physical world that was not first created in the mind. It is true that who you are, what you are surrounded by, and the life you lead is a manifestation of human thoughts, both yours and others. You are what you know, who you believe, and that starts in the mind. I am your inner voice. I am always guiding you, but it is your choice to listen or not. I want you to create a joyful life through knowing intent. I do not want you to feel helpless, as if things happen to you instead of by you. Phil, I have a hard time wrapping my head around that. I am. You have to accept that when you're hearing this, you might not understand everything right away because the concepts are new to you. Except that you need to keep reacquainting yourself with them until they are part of you. That is the process of seeking. There's nothing wrong with it not being completely clear yet. Your understanding will grow as your knowing grows. Phil, okay, then what is the difference between truth you mention and our thoughts? I am. There is only one truth, one law. I am and I create. This truth exists in the spiritual world of universal mind and cannot be changed through thought. Anything that has been created in the physical world is human made. It is not the one truth because it can be changed through thought. It only exists until a new creation changes it. A single creative thought can't tear that human made creation down. Big truth bomb right there, folks. Phil, so human made creations are limitations. Yes, but these limitations allow you to experience your creations in the physical world. Phil, okay. Are laws limitations too? Absolutely. There are no limits. People believe there are limits because they do not have knowing that every thought creates. If you're not creating through a calm knowing that your thoughts create, you are creating through fear. Phil, are all scientific laws limitations? That's right. That's why science is always changing and discovering new things. What had previously existed ceased to exist when new thoughts are created. Phil, when you refer to a calm knowing, what do you mean? I am. Knowing is the absence of doubt. It is a feeling of calm, of love, of pure joy. All other thoughts come from a place of fear, from not knowing. Phil, is the purpose of life to create? I am. Life is creation. Nothing exists but oneness in creation. Everything you think is creation. The purpose of your life is to decide which creations you will pull out of the ether of universal mind and bring to the physical world, both for you and others to experience. Every human has a blueprint, which is something you are here to create, to contribute to the expanding universe. Your blueprint is something you've always wanted to do, but most people turn away from that voice inside of them. My voice. It is never too late to tap into your inner voice and do what you want instead of what others expect. You came to the physical world with a plan for your life that you knew you could fulfill if you listened to your inner self and followed your instincts. You knew that if you blocked your inner self, you would not be fulfilled. You knew it wasn't so much important that you found out who you were again, although that is the ultimate goal. But what was important was learning to listen to yourself above all others and learning that because you exist, you are perfect. When you love yourself exactly as you are, you become a beacon of love. And folks, I was meditating the other night with Brian, reaching out there, and I heard this voice distinctly say to me, "You are perfect, Wayne. Even in your imperfections, they are perfect." That's what this just said. So many of us question ourselves. We put ourselves down, and we do it subconsciously. But when you begin to accept yourself that you are perfect, David Barry, you are perfect. Even in your imperfections, you, David Barry, perfect them by their imperfecting. Phil, if we are you and you have made us perfect, how do we create these imperfect things? I am. You are me, and I am an unlimited creator. That makes you an unlimited creator. You have the entire creative power of the universe flowing through you. But what you call imperfections come from the doubts, the fears, the beliefs of lack you've created because you don't have knowing that you are God. You are an unlimited creator, which means you can create for yourself what you do not want. It is because of your perfection that it is possible. If I limited humans to not only being able to create what you would call goodness, you would not be me. I have given humans a gift, an opportunity to learn, to grow, to find themselves, and to love each other. You are awed by my creations, the creations you call nature. But nature was created with the greatest of ease because I have complete knowing of myself and my creative capability. I am awed by human creations because you are creating solutions to problems I do not have. You have needs because of the veil of your persona. Because of those needs, you create interesting solutions. While you may choose to focus on what you consider to be imperfections, I only see perfection in each of you. Phil. So there is nothing to fear, even death or injury? I am. There is nothing to fear. You are me, and you are perfect. You always have my love flowing through your body, whether or not you are aware of it. Death is creation, just like your life is creation. Injury is creation. They exist for you to experience. What happens when we die? You experience the full love and joy of being I am again. You leave your body and have full knowing that you are everything. You feel yourself everywhere. You radiate love from the spiritual world. Phil, what are dreams? I am. When you sleep, your mind is linked without the blocking that happens while you're awake. To my mind, in the spiritual world of universal mind, this unblocked link recharges your body. Spiritual universe mind stores all the thoughts that have ever been thought. During sleep, you experience some of these thoughts as dreams. Phil, why do we need to recharge our bodies? I am. Because you aren't fully I am. You have a persona that blocks your inner self. If you didn't have a persona, you wouldn't have to sleep. If you are fully I am, you need nothing. Your thoughts are. Phil, is this why we like to sleep so much? It's very enjoyable. I am. Not only do you like it, it's necessary for your body to be repaired while your persona is not blocking your inner self. Phil, we heal ourselves. I am. While you are blocking your inner self, you don't know that you can create your body with your thoughts. It gets worn down because you are not creating it to be at its optimal state. You need sleep so that the body can heal while there is no blocking of your inner self. Phil, is this why we associate death with sleep? In both cases, we are returning to our source. I am. Yes. In both cases, you are returning to your source, the universal mind in the spiritual world. But when your body is dead, I am no longer in it. It is still built of me, but I am not creating through that body anymore. When you are asleep, I am creating perfection for that body unlocked by your persona. Phil, if we're not blocking our inner self, we wouldn't need sleep. I am. Humans have needs. Your inner self needs nothing. The physical world isn't real. It's a creation. Thought is everything. There are no rules. There are no laws. When you understand that, you will be closer to knowing you are an unlimited creator. Phil, we need oxygen because we think we need oxygen? I am. Yes, it is a thought that currently exists, but thoughts are creations that can be recreated. Phil, we can destroy that thought with another thought? Yes. What is health? Although you may be experiencing it in the physical world, health is just a creation. You are what you think. If you believe health exists, you must also believe its opposite, sickness exists. Boom, baby. That's a truth bomb right there. Wow. Phil, are humans' beliefs about what creates health and what creates sickness just limitations like other laws? I am. Laws are ideas humans have created. Humans believe their creative power is limited to the bounds of those laws. The truth is, there are no laws. Besides, I am. I create. There are only thoughts. Laws are limitations. Phil, thought is everything. I am. Yes. Phil, and you can think anything? Yes. Phil, when we know this, it is so? I am. Yes, it is so. Whether or not you know it, it works every second of every day, whether or not you know it. But if you know, you create what you want. If you don't know, you are more likely to create what you don't want. Phil, how do we know what we want? I am. Trust yourself first. Stop listening to the advice from other people if it doesn't match what you feel inside. What we just read that in the Hidden Hands. People who love you want to keep you safe, and safe tends to be sticking to what is already known. Anyone who has ever created anything big in this world has done so by going their own way, a way that hadn't been created yet. Listen to me, your inner voice. If you do not know what you want, ask yourself what you would create if you could create anything. What would you want to spend your time here on earth doing if you knew there were no limits to your creative power? Phil, when you say listen to me, you mean listen to you inside me. I am, yes. You want to speak to me. I always speak to you, but you shut me out. When you hear me, you tell me I'm wrong. You are me. When you are telling me to be quiet, you are telling your inner voice, the voice of love, knowing, and creating, that you don't want to be yourself. The more you block my voice, the more lost you feel. Phil, if I am you, who are these thoughts that are telling you to be quiet? I am. Your persona is blocking me. Your persona is a creation that is constantly expanding through new thought. Phil, so these thoughts in my head aren't necessarily me. I am. They are creations. Phil, they aren't you. I am. Nothing exists outside of me, but you can block your knowing of me with creations. People believe that they are individuals and not me, and it is constantly being recreated, but that doesn't make it the truth. Phil, how do I not block you? I am. Sit somewhere quiet. Breathe in and out. Listen to your thoughts. When you hear anything that suggests that you're not perfect and that you are not capable of creating anything you want, you know that is blocking thought coming from your persona. It is not real, it is creation. The truth is you are a perfect, unlimited creator. Wow. I'll tell you what, woo, baby. I'm telling you, folks, we're getting close. The day is becoming ever near where there is going to be a core group here, and we're going to start connecting, and we're going to start creating, and the world is going to notice us. You see, the rest of the world thinks this is all bullshit. This is metaphysical new age crap. They don't realize they're believing in the old age of limitations, of imperfections, of lack, poverty. We see death not as an ending, but as a beginning. And we are here now to begin to awaken one another and to others who will see and be drawn by our energy, our light. It's a fact. No more. We, as a soul group, can begin to congeal in ways there have been other groups who have throughout history, and they eventually disappeared. I believe we can raise our vibration as a soul group to a position, to a place where many of us will no longer be here. We will literally transcend the physical into the non-physical. Much love to y'all. Tune in tonight. We're going to continue on this. I think this is really important because it gives us, and eventually we're going to get into, book 1 of the Book of Ra. He's a far out dude. I mean, if y'all have the book, you know what I'm talking about. And I expect many of us to start having conversations. I think this is what Brian was seeing. We had a conversation one time, and he alluded to in our conversation that we both saw the day when we were going to congeal. We're not there yet. We're getting close. And this is how we continue to do it. Wow. Okay. All righty. I think today's lesson is over. I love this. I'm so grateful for all of you. This is just beautiful. And there are many other pods forming as well. We're not the only one. This is not unique to us. There is something happening. There is a transformation. Thought is creating. We're creating it right now. This group is. And I think very much in the near future, other pods will be contacting us. Who knows? We may be contacting them. But we're on for a lot of fun, folks. Just strap in and get ready. Thank you, Consciously Aware. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Appreciate that, brother. Far out stuff, man. That's all I got to say. All right. Much love to you. We are the frequency we are becoming, right? We're doing our brother proud. That's all I got to say. All right. Much love to y'all. See you tomorrow. And if you tune in tonight, love to have you tune in. Artistfirst.com and the Steiger Perspective. And hey, we'll continue. Bye-bye, folks.